Welcome back everybody to the Mega Man 2 playthrough. This is the bonus video that is long overdue. I'm not feeling too great currently, so if I cough and splutter a bit throughout this recording, that'll be fine, but I just want to get this video recorded and done and uploaded so that we can actually have this bonus video up detailing the development and some pre-release stuff, as well as regional differences for Mega Man 2. So let's jump right into it. The first Mega Man did not sell very well, as such a sequel to the game was not even planned. In fact, the only reason Mega Man 2 was even made was because director Akira Kitamura wanted to make one, and only got permission to make Mega Man 2 if the team worked concurrently on other projects as well. Because of this, Mega Man 2 was largely made in the development team's free time. Keiji Inafune also had a larger role in the production of Mega Man 2, while simultaneously working on another game at the same time. The amount of time it took to develop Mega Man 2 was only 3 to 4 months. A lot of unused elements from the first game were actually recycled for Mega Man 2. The 3 support items were made to aid the player because of complaints stemming from Mega Man 1. Also part of this idea of complaints was the energy tank, which some team members were actually quite unsure of. Mega Man 2 was the first time that fan input occurred in the Mega Man series, this being the designs of the game's 8 Robot Masters. Capcom received over 8,000 submissions for the game's 8 bosses, although even the 8 winners' designs were tweaked. This idea of fan input, having the fans create the designs for the Robot Masters, would continue in every installment after this. Mega Man 2's soundtrack was composed by Takashi Tataishi, although a small part of Airman's stage was composed by Mega Man 1 composer Manami Matsume. Sound programming was handled by Yoshihiro Sakaguchi, as he was with the first game. Now let's get into some pre-release stuff. There are only a couple of pre-release photos, but they do have some interesting things. A 1988 magazine screenshot showed that the Japanese release originally did not have a subtitle. We'll get back to that when we get to the regional differences later on. The other pre-release photo is that the back of Mega Man 2's US box art shows an early version of Woodman's stage. This version contains blockier trees in the background during the outside segment. As with basically any other NES game, there are unused level tiles found in the game's data. With these, we have a tile that was to be used in the horizontal screws in Metal Man's stage. It was to be used in screws that had 5 tiles, but only vertical screws used 5 tiles in the final game. In Crash Man's stage tiles, a meta-generator type object appears. This is really mysterious as we don't know what it could have been used for and remains a complete mystery to this day. In Flashman's tile set, a couple of unused platforms exist. There is also an unused background tile cast in what seems to be shadow. Finally, a couple of katakana symbols were used to fill empty spaces in enemy graphics. They mean, appropriately, emptiness. There is also some unused code in the game pertaining to have enemies drop E-tanks upon death, but it was rendered inaccessible due to potential game-breaking effects. Finally, some interesting content this time. Woodman's stage has 2 sets of unused palettes. It was meant to be a cycle as part of an animation space. It was meant to show that atomic fire could be used on the trees, causing all the trees to burn up. Sadly, it got removed from the game, however, a similar effect would later be used in Slashman's stage in Mega Man 7. Quickman's stage palette is unanimated, however forcing it to animate reveals that the force beams actually cycled between 2 frames. It was disabled so that the Hall of Chanki makers would work properly. In Wily 2, there was meant to be 1 more frame for the turbine cycle, making them rotate a bit slower. There are 3 unused sounds, however the point of these sounds are kind of difficult to actually figure out, and we don't know what they could have been used for. Finally, let's get into some regional differences in the final part of this quite short bonus video. The Japanese version is called Rockman 2 Dr. Wily no Nazo, which translates to Rockman 2 Mystery of Dr. Wily. Rockman 2 also has a copyright tag and trademark symbol. Mega Man 2 moves all copyright to the start of the game and moves the building down a little bit to accommodate the larger title on the main menu. The biggest difference between Rockman 2 and Mega Man 2 is that Rockman 2 has no difficulty level and is equal to what Mega Man 2 considers difficult mode. Interestingly, the Mega Man 2 port in the Wily Wars also has no difficulty selection, being closer to the original Japanese release. In general, the get equipped screen goes by faster in Rockman 2 because the Japanese text simply appears faster. For some reason, on the start screen, password is split into two words as pass and word in Rockman 2. In Rockman 2, Crashman is known as Clashman. This name was kept in all versions of Mega Man 2 on Game Boy, although the majority of games after this point use the localized name. The credits, of course, fixed some typos in the Mega Man 2 release, including character designer and sound programmer. Presented by was also altered in all regions to the equivalent Capcom divisions, depending on where the game was released. And with that being said, that is all the information we have on development history and pre-release concepts and whatnot for Mega Man 2. With that being said, the second quest playthrough will continue pretty soon as I can figure out getting it recorded. So, until that point, this has been the Mega Man 2 playthrough. I will see you all next time. Goodbye!